6 years, buddy. Since I've been on the January 6th committee, I wrote the breach. I was a senior technical advisor, saw the text messages, all the phone records, 30 million lines of data. And it doesn't take a genius to look at past performance, Ken. So when I saw this, I had written an article right beforehand to try to predict what he was going to say based on past performance data and behaviors. And it turned out to be pretty good, almost dead on. And when I was watching it, you almost get this point that it's deja vu. They've perfected what we call in the military the TTP, the
Yeah.
tactics, technique, and procedures. And what they've done is they learned from January 6th. They perfected the TTP. They have the right people in place. And what I saw was a person who actually believed now there's no moat, there's no friction in his administration. Everybody are yes men and yes women. And he's utilizing that to push a narrative that might even be more dangerous. And quickly, people have been concentrating on China. They've been concentrating on Chinese servers. If people look back in 2021, if you go to the deepcapture.com website by Patrick Byrne, they had actually produced trace routes from Phil Waldron, who was sort of leading the technical expose, right? And was talking about China being owned by Smartmatic and Dominion and the Venezuela stuff and the Italian satellite stuff. But because Maduro is in custody, and when you saw this small statement about Venezuela elections being manipulated, that is actually, I believe, the most important part of the speech. I know it was glossed over. I made the call. That was going to happen. It was going to be zany. It's frickin' zany. And I'm telling you, that is his baseline, along with China, along with Venezuela, to look at Executive Order 13848, use foreign interference executive orders, to look at trying to suppress the vote in these areas, specifically in swing districts. Lastly, I think this actually talks to 2028 more than 2026. I think we got to be very worried about the presidential election. We got to be very, very worried about violence, because his call to action, when he says everybody call their senators, everybody call their congressmen on the Save America Act, that call to action and him demonizing other people is really reminiscent as when he said the Proud Boys to stand back and
Yeah.
stand by. So
Bo-
that was my take.
Bobby, I want your reaction to that, because we know that speech wasn't for us. It didn't even seem like it was for the wider American public. It seemed like it was targeted to that sliver of his base that he's going to need to mobilize to stand back and stand by in the event he needs their help in extremis.
No, I agree. I liken it to a warning word, as we would say in the military, a warning
Yeah.
word. It's basically what he gave with that speech last night, to mobilize and have those guys on standby to do whatever it takes to suppress, because he's done the math. The blue wave is coming. The Wu-Tang is coming, and he has no answer. And here's the thing, and I'll keep saying this. Everybody's talking about, impeachment. No, 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 no. It's not about impeachment. And congressmen can talk about this. This is about getting the gavel and having public hearings, embarrassing this guy. And that is what really matters. It's not about the legal stuff. He put that behind a curtain and this, that, and the other. But no, for people to have, for example, Epstein victims front and center testifying and saying his name in the same sentence. This is the stuff that he's afraid of, because it's all about image. If it was about substance, we wouldn't be going through this. The other piece, too, is they have worked systemically to dilute the voting power of who they believe will be blue voters. Make no mistake. And if that means using ICE as a modern Gestapo to enforce election purity, then so be it. But all of that was to lay out the argument. And Bannon has said this. Steve Bannon has talked about this for years, about how to basically create a third Trump term within the legalities that they see they can get away with. That's all yesterday. Yesterday was the warrant word from a military standpoint for all of us to stand by. So I agree with the congressman, man. We need to be ready for 26 and 28, not just the thing in front of us, but strategically 28 as well.
Denver, did you take any reassurance at all from the fact that a couple major networks chose not to broadcast it? The pushback was immediate and loud. Or am I looking for silver linings where there really aren't any? Because on the other side of the ledger, you had CBS carrying it. You had people shocked that he was, lying to the American public. I try to find silver linings where I can, but you're the expert, man.